quick, easy, fun ideas to use for that perfect frozen themed party or lunchbox. I mean, come on, who doesn't love a Marshmallow Olaf? Welcome to my channel, Pack, Eat, Repeat. Hi, my name's Aneka and welcome to my channel, Pack, Eat, Repeat. I am so excited because Frozen 2 is coming out and I love it. I actually considered doing a little one of the songs for you for this intro, but I'm gonna spare you guys that and just let you know that I had so much fun coming up with quick, easy food recipes for a Frozen themed party or Frozen themed lunchboxes, whatever you'd like. And really some of them could just be some fun winter ideas. So I really hope you like all the ideas I came up with. Be sure to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you ring the bell so that you'll get notifications when my next week of quick and easy themed food ideas comes out. All right guys, let's get started. First, we're going to start out with these ombre Rice Krispie treats, and honestly, I love anything with this color pattern, so I knew these were perfect for me. So I started out by making a batch of Rice Krispie treats per the directions on the back of the box, and I actually made only a third of the recipe because I knew I was going to have to do this a few times and I didn't want to end up with a mountain of Rice Krispie treats. So what you're seeing here is about a third of the recipe. So you just make it with nothing extra and you put it in the bottom of a loaf pan. Next, I made another batch, but this time I added about 3 drops of blue food coloring. Once that was cool enough to handle, I added it to my loaf pan. I did the same thing again, adding 6 drops of blue food coloring. And 9 drops. Now, between 6 and 9 drops, I didn't get that big of a color variation, so I think I might put even more in the next time just to make the color even a little deeper. Or I might go and find some different food coloring that was maybe a darker blue. Either way, they still came out looking really nice. So once those are cooled, I just turned it out of my loaf pan. And I got this beautiful gradient of colors, and I thought these were so cute and they were just really easy to make. They did take a little time just because I had to let it cool in between, but they were just very easy. I will say though that the outside, the part that was on the outside of the pan, you could see the color change a little better than the parts where you cut it. So I might consider making these into individual little cupcakes next time so they'll look beautiful all around. And that's it. Quick and easy. Next up, Swedish meatballs. Now, I had never made this before, but I wanted my kids to try something new. And so I made this for dinner on Sunday night, and then I sent it again for lunch for my daughter on Monday. I will make sure to link the recipe down below for you. And instead of making the meatballs though, I just used frozen meatballs because I was on a time crunch and those are fine for my family. Although I do love fresh meatballs. So I started out by melting some butter in a pan. And then I added my flour. Now, this was basically making a roux. So if there's anyone out there watching who has some tips for me on how to do this, sometimes I do it and it comes out great and sometimes not so much. So if you're an avid cook and you have some tips and tricks for me on this, I would love to hear them because this is the first time I was making this recipe, and although it came out really delicious and we all liked it, I know there are probably some things that I could do to make it even better. So I just mixed that around and I cooked it until it became a nice golden brown. And I just kept cooking until it was a color that looked good. And next I added some beef broth. Now I I made a game time decision to double this recipe because I thought that maybe it wouldn't be enough gravy for the whole family, and that was a bad decision. One, because the pot was not big enough, and two, because it was plenty of gravy. So I'm going to add a little bit of, the recipe actually calls for heavy cream, but I had half and half in my fridge, so that's what I used. This is looking really delicious already, and it smelled really good too. Then I just let that cook for a little bit at a simmer. Then I added some sugar, salt, and pepper, and some Worcestershire sauce. And I let that cook down for a while at a low boil. And honestly, you guys, this came together so quickly. I had no idea that it would be so quick to make this dish, and we'll definitely be making it again. I added my meatballs, I let it cook for a little while longer, and that was it. The girls loved these. They reheated so well for lunch the next day, and it was really fun to talk about what people in the part of the world where Elsa and Anna live might be eating for dinner. So we got a little geography lesson in too. That was it. Swedish meatballs. Next up, melted Olaf. I made this for my daughter's lunch, and it couldn't have been quicker. This took me about 5 minutes to put together. So first I melted some chocolates, and I just put it in a little icing bag, but you could definitely just use a Ziploc bag and snip off the corner. And I did my best with my limited art skills to draw some snowman arms with the chocolate. I popped the arms in the fridge, and then I grabbed the yogurt, and by the time I filled up the yogurt container, the arms were nice and cooled. So I put in some of Olaf's arms right into the yogurt. I added some candy eyes. I used this little orange slice as the nose. And then I just got a few mini chocolate chips and put them on there for his buttons. And that's it, melted Olaf. It was really delicious. So next up, we're gonna make a fully assembled Marshmallow Olaf. So you're gonna need a few different sizes of marshmallows for this, and thankfully, I was planning to make those Rice Krispie treats, so I was able to use up all the extra marshmallows because this is a lot of marshmallows for one house. So we want to start out by making our backdrop. So I just used regular icing that you can get from the store. Now you could also use blue candy melts if you wanted to, and I might actually have done that if this were for a party or something, but I just opted for the quicker option here. I turned it blue, and then I got some graham crackers, and I just spread the blue icing right on top of the graham crackers. Now if I were making this for a party, I think I might take the icing all the way out to the edge. I think it might look a little neater, but I was just making this for my daughters, and I knew that they needed some place to grab the crackers without getting blue icing all over my house, so I left a little margin. Next, we're going to take our jumbo marshmallows out because this is going to be Olaf's main part of his body and his head. So we're just going to cut those right in half so that we have 2 circles. I did consider getting the non-stick cooking spray to spray my hands with, but instead You guys are gonna see that I just struggled with sticky fingers throughout this activity. Next, we're gonna take one of those circles and we're going to basically cut it into a diamond. So we're just gonna snip off 4 sides so that we have a diamond shape. And this is going to be Olaf's head. Yeah, I really should have gotten that cooking spray. Next, we're going to take the large marshmallows and cut those in half the same way, so we want 2 circles out of it. I'm going to use my mini marshmallows to make Olaf's feet. And then I'm using these black licorice Twizzlers to make his arms and the little sprig of hair right on top of his head. Now, if I could have found black pull and peel Twizzlers, that would have been a lot easier because I think they would have already been about the size that I needed, but I couldn't find any. So I'm just cutting up this regular Twizzler so that it's a little bit thinner so that I can stick it into my marshmallows. So what I'm going to need for each one is 2 arms and then a little sprig for the top of the head. I use this cake tester to just poke a little hole in the marshmallow because I found it to be easier to get the Twizzler in that way. And then I just stuck it right into the hole that I made. I considered trying to cut the ends of these to make little fingers, but honestly, I thought that would be too much work and I thought it looked really cute this way. But if you want that much detail, then you should totally go for it. Next, I'm going to take my little diamond, poke a hole in the top, and put the little hair right on top of Olaf's head. Now when I'm placing these marshmallows onto my graham cracker, you want to make sure that you put the sticky side down. That way it'll look nice and smooth on top. Next, I'm going to cut this orange slice into a little triangle for his nose. And once again, I'm going to use my cake tester to poke a little hole in ahead of time so that the nose goes in really easily. And guys, I'm sorry this is kind of out of frame. I had sticky candy everywhere. It was sticking to my hands and everything. So I was a little preoccupied with trying to get things unstuck. I used a little bit of melted chocolate to make his buttons, and I'm also going to use it as the glue to glue on his candy eyes. And here's where I made a little hole so that I could put his nose in. And then I'm going to use the melted chocolate again to make his mouth. I just wanted to practice first because I'm not very good at drawing and I wanted to make sure that it didn't look awful, but it was actually pretty easy to make this shape for his mouth. And then I just colored it in. And that was it. So these were not the quickest snacks that I ever made, but I thought they were adorable and my girls went crazy when they saw them. They were so cute. And that's it. Super simple and mostly quick ideas that would be perfect for a Frozen themed lunchbox or party. Be sure to let me know down in the comments if you have your own recipe for Swedish meatballs or any advice for me on making a really good roux. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to hit the notification bell because I've got some really fun holiday treats coming up and you won't want to miss any of it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.